Hello again. Welcome to day 4 of the Nourish with Protein mini challenge. I'm Lainey. I realized I didn't even introduce myself on day 1, 2, or 3 to those who might be new around here. My name's Lainey. Nice to meet you. Now, day 4 was going to be about what happens in our body when we don't get enough protein or when we get too much protein. But I've rejigged things based on what I'm reading in the comments. What I'm reading in the comments is that it sounds like most of you are feeling a little bit like, oh, I want to now that we've learned roles, the many and varied roles of protein in our body. And then in day 2, we learned how much we could be shooting for in our stage of life and our unique lifestyle. And then day 3, we calculated how much am I actually eating now, like on an average day. And then in the comments, that's when I was starting to hear a little bit of, my gosh, I need a lot more than what I'm eating. I don't know how to do that. Some people were like, oh, actually, I'm pretty well there. And even some people were over. And so it's not everybody who needs to, think about creative ways to get more protein in, but there were a lot of you. And so that's why I've changed the topic of today's video. So this is going to be relevant for those who are looking for ways to increase that protein intake for the day. Hello to those who have joined. Welcome. Please say hi in the comment. Always nice to know I'm talking to real people. So, are you ready? I have put together a whole bunch of meal ideas for you that are all high protein. Here we go. All righty. Hi back. Thanks for saying hi. Sorry, I can't see your name there. Okay, here we go. Day 4. Day on a plate ideas. Hey, Jordana. Good morning. All right, day on a plate ideas. Here we go. We're going to get stuck straight into it today. Now, I'm not a coffee drinker, but for those who are, why not start the day with a little bit of protein kick? Now, I know that you may choose to just leave your coffee as is, and that's fine because there are plenty of other ideas. But look, I just thought, you know what? First thing in the morning, a lot of times people reach for their coffee first thing in the morning. So let's talk about how we can do that. So if you're not currently adding milk, you could consider adding soy or cow's milk. Not a whole lot because we don't really add a whole lot of milk to coffee, do we? So just a little bit there. You can add collagen powder. If you've got one of those, where did I get mine? Where did I get it? I can't remember where I got mine. It was just somewhere cheap. I just got one of those handheld little buzzer whisk what do you call it? It's like a milk frother, but it kind of mixes everything up. So you can just make your coffee, add your collagen powder, and then just get your little stick, like a little mini stick blender, but it's a little milk frother. I hope you know what I'm talking about. You can just use that to add your collagen powder in. You could even add a spoonful of yogurt and mix that through. You might want to blend it. I don't know. And if you're blending, why not throw some nuts or nut butter into your coffee? There's some ideas. Take it or leave it. It's not mandatory. There's just some ideas. But moving on to breakfast, and honestly, you guys, as we're going, tell me in the comments if anything sounds appealing to you or sounds gross to you, or whatever. I'd love to hear some feedback about some of these ideas. So, moving into breakfast, if you know me, then you know that I'm a huge fan of smoothies, right? So I've got a million and one ideas of how to increase the protein intake of your smoothie or the protein component of your smoothie. So if you're not currently a smoothie drinker and you haven't experimented much with it, then I would so encourage you to do it because it's not just protein that's so easy to get in, it's everything. Everything we need to function optimally, we can get bountiful supply of in a smoothie. So I'm not going to go off track talking about the wonders of smoothies just yet, but I'm about to go into what are the ways that we can increase the protein of our smoothie. Someone said collagen's great. It makes it a little extra creamy. That's good to know because, like I said, I haven't tried collagen in a smoothie. I mean, I don't drink coffee, so I haven't tried collagen in a coffee. And Jordana says, I drink only decaf or herbal tea. Yeah, that's cool. I wonder if you could still put it in decaf. Herbal tea. I don't know about herbal tea. Try the herbal tea and let me know how it goes. For some reason, that sounds gross to me, herbal tea and collagen together. I wonder why. I don't know. Okay, smoothie and protein. Now, this is my only reference to the fact that we already do have done for you protein blends. Sorry, not protein blends, smoothie booster blends, which the recipes that go with that range from 16 to 27 grams of smoothie. Gosh, grams of protein in your smoothie. So you can just make it easy for yourself and do that. Here are some other ideas. You can throw a handful of cashews into your smoothie, gives you about 6 grams. Again, because I put this in here. I know a lot of people make their smoothies on milk already. For me, I only ever use water. And, putting this together has made me reconsider, go, I actually made this morning, I made my smoothie with soy milk because I was reminded of how much extra protein is in your smoothie that way. It's an extra 8 grams. It's quite significant. I agree with you, Jordana. It does sound yuck. The collagen in the herbal tea. Okay, now another idea is putting half a cup of Greek yogurt in your smoothie. That's a whopper 12 grams extra. You could even do some tofu. I know that sounds a little bit not traditional, but there's a few non traditional ideas I'm going to throw at you, and I challenge you to try some. Other ideas 2 tablespoons of a nut butter, whether it's peanut butter or almond butter or sunflower seed butter, whatever it is. It's around about 8 grams each, give or take. Oh, I've already done the handful of cashews, that's twice. You could put a couple of tablespoons of chia seeds in there. That's actually meant to say 6 grams each, so that would be 12 grams. 2 tablespoons of hemp seeds would be 10 grams. Jordana says, how about, was that soy or oat yogurt? Yeah, soy yogurt is about the same protein as Greek yogurt, I believe. I just have to check that chart that I made yesterday, or is it the regular yogurt? No, it'd be about the same as Greek yogurt. Oat yogurt would be lower. It's still going to have protein, and if you prefer it, you can still throw it in because what you're going to see at the end of these smoothie examples is that you actually it's much easier than what we make it seem to ourselves. And we actually don't need a whole bunch of these. Like, I'm gonna show you an example of a 30-gram protein smoothie, and it only uses a very small number of these ideas. So we don't need to sort of feel like we need to pick the most high protein ingredients of all these smoothie examples I'm giving and put it all into one smoothie and then have it taste gross if that's what you feel. Just hear out the examples, and then I'll show you a recipe I put together. Cooked quinoa, half a cup would be 4 grams, and I do this. May not be half a cup that I put in. I've always got either leftover brown rice or quinoa cooked in the fridge, ready to go for lunches or anything. I just make sure that's always there. And I will often put a few spoonfuls of that into my smoothie. Even if it's just two like heaped tablespoons is a little boost as well of complex carbs and other great things that are in there. You can put a raw egg in your smoothie. I know that this will divide people, but and I'm not gonna weigh in on the dangers of raw egg. I'm not a health professional, so you can do your own research and speak to your health practitioners about that. But my husband, Jordan, used to make the most disgusting smoothie with 8 raw eggs in it every day. That's when he was in his fitness stage where he was bulking up majorly. It makes me want to vomit just thinking about it, but you could do 1. I'm just saying 1. Okay. Cacao powder is one that I will routinely put into my smoothies. 2 tablespoons is about 4 grams of protein. So that's actually really quite a good, easy, tasty, chocolatey boost. Now, again, you can put collagen or a protein supplement or something in there. Just make sure it's a clean one if you're using like a whey based protein powder. Often they're a bit gunky. So just make sure it's a clean one. If you're not sure how to spot a clean one, we're going to go into that on Friday, tomorrow, I believe. And that can give you a major boost of 10 to 20 grams, depending on which one you're using. You can put oats in there. That's, about 1.5. Again, the cooked brown rice. You can literally put chickpeas in your smoothie. Like you might just want to put a little bit in, whatever. You can put a teaspoon of gelatin in your smoothie. I do that when I make a gut loving smoothie. That's going to give you a bit of a boost as well. And here's one that you may not have thought of before. butter beans or cannellini, that's how you say it, cannellini beans. I use cannellini beans in place of butter or coconut oil when I'm baking sometimes, or I'll half it with whatever's in the recipe. But you can also put them in your smoothie, and you can try freezing them first just to have them on hand in little portions in the freezer so that it, anything frozen helps the smoothie taste amazing and the texture and the temperature just be spot on. If you're putting lots of room temperature items into your smoothie, it's not going to taste quite as good. Yeah, Jordana loves butter beans. And someone's got a question here. She said, I read somewhere that the collagen protein doesn't count as actual protein. Have you read that before? I can't remember where I read now. No, that I've recently done a lot of research on the pros and cons and the differences between collagen and whey protein and lots of different types of protein because I was did a lot of research to create the protein blend that we're going to make, that we have made, and it's releasing this weekend. And the collagen, like you use it for different purposes, but it is absolutely a protein. It's actually almost like 100% protein and it does count. When it comes to muscle building, there's a bit of a nuance there. And so we can talk about that. I think I'll do that tomorrow when I talk about protein supplements and things. We'll go into that. I'll make a note of your question. Now, here's an example. Like I said, you don't have to do all of those. This is just a really nice, simple example of how you can get maximum protein intake into your smoothie. Now, remember, we don't want to have like huge amounts of protein in one sitting. 20 to if you can 20 to 40 grams. I've read 20 to 25, but I've also read 20 to 40 grams is what our body can sort of process at once. And so I wouldn't really even try to go more than, say, this 30-gram smoothie example. So here's what it is, nice and simple: half a cup of milk, half a cup of yogurt, a frozen banana, 2 tablespoons of cacao powder, a bit of date paste to sweeten, but you can use whatever you like. I spout the benefits of date paste in other forums in the smoothie challenge. But if you're wondering what that is, it's literally just go and buy the cheap dried dates, ideally sulfite free, and just put them in a glass jar, like a 1 liter glass jar, cover it with filtered water to soak. And then later on in the day, you just dump it all, water and all, into your blender or food processor and blitz it up. If you're only using it for smoothies, you don't even have to blend it up. You can just keep the soaked dates in your fridge and then just spoon them out into your smoothie as you go. So it's half water, half dates. You're only getting 1 tablespoon of dates in date paste. Okay, so then you've got 1 tablespoon each of chia seeds and hemp seeds, gives you another 8. So subtotal, that's like 29.3 grams. Like that's a very simple smoothie, isn't it? It's really just your liquid and your fruit, cacao, and a few seeds. Like that's very simple. And then you can, for taste and just flavor, this is my favorite flavor at the moment that I keep going back to again and again. I add a big knob of ginger and some mint. And because just veggies, we need lots of veggies. I will never miss an opportunity to put veggies in a smoothie for the kids or for me. If you've done the smoothie challenge, you know how much I love to put in. I love to make when I'm unpacking my shopping each week, I do it right then and there. So just what it's cooking while I'm putting away shopping, and then I just quickly blitz it up and put it in the freezer and it's done. I don't have to think about it again. So I do a sweet potato puree, literally don't peel it. You just chop it up into big chunks, throw it into a saucepan to steam, and then throw the water and the sweet potato, all of it into the food processor and blitz it and freeze it into ice cube molds. It's fantastic for gut health because it turns into a resistant starch, which will go all the way through to your colon and feed the good bacteria down there. So it's fantastic. And cauliflower puree as well. I do that, and I won't go into the benefits of it all, but it does have a little bit of protein in there, but that's not the reason why we put it in. We just want to maximize our veggies, people. So pop it in there. And then I always put some frozen kale in there too. Just a tip: raw kale, for some reason, I don't know why, doesn't taste very good in a smoothie, but frozen kale does. I just pick up the kale leaf or stem in my hand. I hold it with one hand here and I put my fingers here and I kind of, I don't know what you call it, but I just get the leaves off and I discard the stems. You can freeze them and put them in a slow cooker once you've got a collection to make a broth, but just for simplicity, just freeze the leaves in like a big Snaplock bag or a container or something that you've got, and then you can add that into. So what, if you're going to keep going like that, you're going to end up with like 33.3 grams of protein in one smoothie. Now, just coming back to the comments here, Jordana says, I don't like chocolate tasting food, so no cacao for me. Yeah, that's cool. Do you know what? The other day I made this smoothie and I forgot to put the cacao powder in. I was out of my regular blend. And so I was making it from scratch and I forgot the cacao powder. And it just turned out like a green smoothie because I put plenty of mint in there. And I personally also add some, like a bit of parsley too, not for taste, but just the health benefits. I love herbs. And yeah, it just turned out like a nice green smoothie. And so, yeah, you can play with that. Someone else has said, is fermented coconut yogurt a similar amount to Greek? Do you know what? I have researched that question before. How much protein is in the cultured wellness of fermented coconut yogurt? And it's not coming to top of mind right now. So I'm going to add that to the Q&A questions for you. Okay. I've got it written down somewhere. Okay. Yeah. Sorry about that, Kerry. I think I do know the reason. I'll talk to you about it later. Okay. So moving on from smoothies. So firstly, before we move on from smoothies, how does that sound? Someone Someone said, yum, that sounds delicious. Someone said, that's good because we love it in our family. So good to get into the kids. I can't remember. Oh, maybe butter beans. Maybe that's what it was about. Jordana says she could do a green smoothie. Go for it. Just omit the cacao powder. You're still going to be very close to 30 grams, which is amazing for a breakfast, right? Sadie said, definitely doable. Oops, that was someone else said delicious. All right. I'm glad you like it. Okay. So that's going to kick us off to a fantastic start in the morning, right? Double thumbs up. Love it. Okay. Now moving on to some other breakfast ideas. And bear in mind, guys, I'm going to focus the high protein meal ideas today mostly on breakfast and snacks and dessert because I feel like lunch and dinner is often pretty sorted. Like often for dinner, people are having, meat and three veg, or there's some component of protein that's kind of built into the culture and tradition of dinners and largely lunches as well. And so I feel like there's so much opportunity for us to boost our protein intake elsewhere in the day that we're not currently perhaps doing. So that's what I'm going to focus mostly on today. But let me know if you're feeling stuck for lunch or dinner ideas too. Okay. Now, simple oats. And this is the other thing. I wanted to keep today's ideas quite simple and quite reachable and doable. I didn't want to sort of have these strange ingredients and methods of cooking and all sorts of things. I just want to keep it nice and simple, particularly for breakfast. So this is literally just half a cup of oats. Our family literally love doing raw oats. We don't really cook it into porridge very often unless it's really cold in winter, which is not very often up here on the Sunshine Coast in Queensland. And so we do, half a cup of oats, or if you're cooking it, there's 1 cup of cooked oats. That's the equivalent. Throw in the tablespoon of chia and hemp again. And then on top, have your yogurt and chop up a banana for the top. How simple is that? That's going to give you 22 grams of protein. And for just as a little tip, we always do add some cinnamon and some raw honey. And the kids, this is their flavor of the month right now for brekkie. That's what they reach for. It's nice and quick and they love it. So that's their regular breakfast right now. Between that and a smoothie, we kind of rotate between those two. And if you want to keep it simple and get some goodness of other things, we do have at Stacked Blends Co. We do have a porridge booster blend that you could add as well for 4 grams. Okay. This is the famous Jamie Oliver recipe for pancakes. It's the 111 recipe. Literally 1 cup of flour, 1 cup of milk, 1 egg. And because I don't buy pre-done self-raising flour to turn your 1 cup of plain flour into 1 cup of self-raising flour, you're going to add 1 teaspoon of baking powder. I can't hold those fingers up at once. So 1111 recipe for pancakes. And then if you're going to have 2 of those pancakes, add a banana on top and add your yogurt on top again. That's 15.5 grams of protein. A child could eat that. 2 pancakes and some yogurt and a banana. You can get 15 grams of protein into your child at breakfast. Whereas with the smoothie, it's quite big, right? And so I don't think one child is going to drink an entire 30-gram smoothie or even half of a 30, well, maybe a half 30-gram smoothie actually. And so, yeah, like that's a good way. Pancakes are a great way to get lots of protein into your children if you're concerned about their intake. Now, the boosted pancakes that we have at Stacked are higher again, which same toppings, same number of pancakes will give you 23 grams. Now, my kids smashed two of those and with those toppings. So it's amazing to see like a 7-year-old child getting 23 grams of protein in at breakfast. So that's another fantastic way of doing that. And this, I believe, is my last pancake suggestion. This is also, I forgot this one. This is kind of the third one that's on rotation for breakfast at our place right now. I'm going to give you the recipe. What I'm actually going to do, we actually have a members only recipe website for my coaching members, No Fuss Nourished Method family. And what I can do is just tag some of these recipes as publicly available just for the week of this protein challenge until next week sometime. I'm going to pull out some of those high protein recipes that I'm going to show you today so that you've got access to them and then you can screenshot them or save them somehow before they then revert back to members only private recipes. Okay. So this is one. It's the photo does not do it justice. It is absolutely gorgeous. I wouldn't call it a pancake to your children because they've got preconceived notion of what a pancake is in their mind. It's whole rolled oats with lots of egg, with lots of coconut, some frozen raspberries, some seeds, cinnamon. It's awesome. And then you cook it up, and the fragrance through the house is insane. Like it is so good. Got a grated pear in there. It's just awesome. So that's another 25 grams that your child can get in to them in the morning and yourself as well. So that's a really fantastic boosted, highly nutritious, high protein brekkie that I will also like the week before school went back and I was getting sort of myself organized for the chaos of the school mornings, I would just make a couple of double batches of the dry ingredients together. And so then all I had to do in the morning was dump the pre-done dry ingredients into like the eggs and the grated pear and off we went. We are good to go. I'm glad you think so. Someone said that looks delicious. It's funny, I've never thought of myself as a recipe developer, like creating recipes was never something that I considered myself capable of. I was always the one following the recipe to the T. My mother never follows a recipe, and when she makes something nice, I was like, "Mom, what's the recipe?" And she goes, "I don't know, I just made it up." And I'm like, "How do you do that?" But then over the years, as I've practiced and practiced, I find myself publishing all these recipes that I've created, and I scratch my head and think, "Oh gosh, maybe I can." And you can too. Very cool. Carrie said, "What should I swap Greek yogurt with for dairy free?" You can get soy yogurt that I believe is about the same amount as Greek. I just need to refer back. Actually, I can probably do that pretty quickly. Yes, I can. I've got it open right here, you guys. Soy yogurt is about 8.5 grams of protein per cup, whereas Greek yogurt is a lot more, it's 20 grams of protein per cup. But that's okay. You can there are as you're gonna discover today, there is just so many ways that you can increase protein, and you may not need to sort of maximize every part of your life every day to get enough protein, you know? And so you might choose a dairy-free yogurt that's lower in protein, but you're doing something else over here, and so it just works out. And your other question, Kerry, are there soy yogurts without sugar added? That's such a good question. I've never bought a soy yogurt. I always do either Greek or the fermented coconut yogurt from Cultured Wellness. So that is something that I'd have to look at. I'll add that to the Q&A. Okay, now other idea for brekkie, scrambled eggs and toast. Did I delete? There we go. Scrambled eggs and toast. So this is just such a simple one, guys. Like 2 eggs, 1 piece of whole grain toast, put a third of an avocado on it ish. And there you go. You've got 20 grams of protein. Like 1 slice of toast with 2 eggs and a bit of avo. Like that's easy. You could could sprinkle some sesame seeds on top. I personally love to use a bit of miso paste under that avocado. So you do the toast. If you want butter, put the butter on, but then I put miso paste on it. It is it's a probiotic food. It's fermented soybeans. It sounds gross, but it tastes just like Vegemite. So many people have sort of transferred over from Vegemite to miso paste. Lots of families have done it and tastes very similar. In fact, I prefer it. And it's just such a good way to get a little bit of fermented food, probiotic living foods into your day. It's not super high in protein, but I just like to do that to boost your nutrition. And of course, you could swap the toast for a wrap, and that's about 15 grams. This is an interesting one. In the comments, let me know. Does anyone here enjoy does anyone here enjoy dinner leftovers for breakfast instead of the traditional toast and cereal and smoothies, et cetera, et cetera? Like, is it time that we rethink what breakfast can look like sometimes? Especially in winter, sometimes you like to reheat some soup or stew or something like that. Jordana says, yes, she doesn't. Carrie adds a little sauerkraut to most of her evening meals. Yes, I love that. Terry says, my family loves your crepes with chocolate sauce, strawberries, and cashew cream on Sundays. Yay! I love to hear that. If you've missed that recipe, it's in the fiber challenge. It's a high fiber recipe. I haven't checked the protein on that one. And someone else said, yep, 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 all the time. Dinner leftovers for brekkie. Excellent. Carrie does. Her partner thinks she's crazy. It's funny what is in our mind with what breakfast must look like, isn't it? But consider that, and it might be more difficult to get your kids over the line with this one, but, just helping, like, if they see you having it, it's just going to normalize it over time. And, one day they might ask for it, who knows? But just for yourself, just think about sometimes dinner leftovers for brekkie. Now, of course, we've got the good old chia pudding. Now, this could be breakfast, it could be a snack, it could be dessert, whatever. There's so many different flavor combinations you can try. Just Google or Pinterest chia pudding recipes, and you'll come up with thousands of them. But the recipe is very simple. It's just 1 to 4 chia seeds to liquid. That's it. Quarter cup of chia seeds, 1 cup of milk, and then you can do your flavorings and all sorts of things around that ratio. But yeah, that's gonna give you about 11 grams of protein. This is a recipe by The Root Cause that I'm gonna share with you too. It's homemade baked beans, and it's really yummy, and you can put it on 1 piece of toast, and it's literally gonna give you 15 grams of protein. Now, this is a very pretty fancy breakfast, and it's gonna give you 18. It's soaked buckwheat raspberry parfait. It sounds and looks fancier than what it is to make. You're literally just gonna soak some buckwheat and then layer it with yogurt, berries. You don't have to make special pink yogurt. You can just have regular yogurt and some berries, and that's what it's gonna be. So it's a great protein boost right there. If you wanna keep things even more simple, literally, if you've got good quality toast with some sunflower butter and some banana on top, 18 grams with 2 pieces. Easy, easy. Jordana said, "Wow, cool. That's awesome about that one. Nice." This is something that I made the other day. It's very simple and basic. I didn't have any choc chips at the time, and they still ate them happily, so that's cool. I actually made them for school lunches, but one of the kids came out from bed really late and missed brekkie, and I was like, "Oh, here, just have one of these for breakfast." And so that is just a good way to breakfast on the run. Some families just feel like they don't have time for breakfast in the morning. Maybe they're up really early after swimming practice or early work or whatever it might be. You can make something like this or a quiche, like a handheld quiche on the run. Just take a couple with you and go. 10 grams of those. The stacked gourmet granola for an 80-gram serve, which is on the smaller side. That's 10 grams. Not super high, but it's often I will have that on top of yogurt as a dessert or a snack or something. That's, pretty good combo. So that was brekkie, you guys. Can you tell me which one of those sounds most appealing for you at the moment? There were lots of ideas there, and you might have some of your own, which I would love to hear as well. If you have a particular brekkie that's your go-to, that's high protein, I think we would all benefit from hearing about it. Jordana asked, "Can the oatmeal one be frozen?" The oatmeal cupcake things, those ones? Yes, they absolutely can. Someone has said that their favorite sounds like baked beans or chia pudding. Yay. I hope that you're getting some fresh ideas or maybe some reminders of some ideas that you've had before. Shall we head into lunches? There aren't as many because, like I said, I'm focusing on um, breakfast and then there's lots of snacks and dessert ideas because, like I said, if anyone's just joined lunch and dinner, I feel like the tradition and the culture around lunch and dinner is already quite protein rich. And so I don't feel like we need quite as many ideas. But here we go with some. Now, I'm going to share this recipe with you too. It's a chickpea quinoa salad, and you can swap the chickpeas for chicken or whatever type of protein source you'd like. But one serve of that is about 18. My recipe here, veggie loaded quiches. If you have they're small serves, and so for a meal, you probably have 4 of them with a bit of a side salad that's going to give you near 18 grams with lots of veg in there too. And just a tip with these ones, we have had a ton of kids try these quiches, and I've even served them at a wedding, and they always go down an absolute hit. They are delicious and absolutely loaded. And someone said the quiche looks delicious. I must admit that's not my photo of my real recipe, but it looks very similar to that. I just found that one on Google, but it does look very similar. Sadie's keen to try the baked beans. Fantastic. And someone else said Greek yogurt with homemade nut seed granola and fruit is my go-to brekkie. Yum. That would, depending on your quantities, an average serve of that would be about 20 grams of protein for you there. So that's great. Now, this is another one that I'm going to share the recipe with you. It's a Mediterranean bean salad with olives and tomatoes. If you can make that recipe, you could make it for even for dinner and have it for a few lunches afterwards, or you could just make it 4 lunches for the week ahead. I'm not I'm not someone who likes to make a recipe for one time. I must benefit many times over if I'm going to put effort into making something. Another one here is oh, where did I go? Yeah, this one. This one here, it's a za'atar yogurt with chickpeas and lemon, delicious. And, if you're going to have that on flatbread with a bit of a salad, maybe that's about 21 grams. If you're just having it by itself, it's about 15. This is Sharon's. I forgot to say it was Sharon Selby's recipe here. Savory sweet potato slice. If you're going to have that with a bit of salad for lunch, it's about 13. This recipe by Alex Stewart is another one that I'll share with you. And it is so good. I don't do it with pork. I think what did I do it with? I think I just did it with mince and black beans, and it was so good. Everyone loved it. And that's about 23 and a half or 20 grams, depending if you have salad or not. Food Revolution Network always have some nice plant-based recipes. This is sweet chili broccoli and tofu. And again, you can swap the tofu for chicken. That's a whopping 27 grams of protein. Imagine if you had that 30-gram smoothie for brekkie and then 27-gram lunch, you're already at 60. And then you've got, say, the one of the snacks that we're about to share. Like, yeah, you can see that you can very easily get over 100 grams of protein in if that's your target. Remember to keep your personalized target in mind and don't shoot for the stars if you don't need to. Okay. A black bean burrito bowl or a chicken burrito bowl, whatever you want to call it, that's about 20 grams. This is a recipe that I'll share with you. It's a sweet potato buckwheat bread. And sometimes I've made that and then I've sliced it and I've just frozen it in slices because it's not something that I want to have sort of every day, but I'll pull it out when I don't have something for lunch and I'll just top it with some peanut butter. Or if you want to top it with the cashew cheese dill that I'm about to show you, that's going to up it again, or sunflower seed butter or something proteiny on the top. One slice of that, and you'll end up with near 15 grams of protein just from one slice of bread with a topping. It doesn't need to be sort of a super huge meal to get lots of protein in. I'm going to share this recipe with you as well. Sunflower seed falafel balls with tahini dipping sauce. I've made these before and they are yummy. And yeah, you can make them for dinner and then have them for leftovers for lunch. This photo is not the actual recipe. I couldn't find a photo for this one, but you've got, 150 grams of salmon, some lentils, spinach, and cherry tomatoes, just a basic salmon lentil salad. And that's going to give you around 30 grams of protein as well. So that's like that doesn't feel like a heavy meal, does it? Sometimes I think we've got this preconceived notion that a high protein meal is going to feel heavy. It doesn't need to. This is one of my recipes too. Our family aren't vegan, but I do like to diversify what we eat and not go too heavy on the meat. I personally prefer plants, but kind of mix it up with the kids because the kids like the meat, etc. So this sausage roll is based on nuts and tofu and oat. And when I first made it for the kids, they had no idea. And they're like, Mom, this is way better than the sausage rolls at the school canteen. And the sausage rolls at the school canteen were like the bee's knees, and everybody loved them. So that was a really good compliment. And so, yeah, they're quite small, rolls, and so if you have 4 of those as an adult, it's about 14, not incredibly high, but for kids too, that's 7 grams. Today, I sent these sausage rolls. I did put some meat in this last batch I did, but I sent these sausage rolls to school today with the kids. They both had 2 mini rolls each, the 2 that took them. So that's 7 grams of protein for them in their school lunch. An idea. Someone else just said here, another one from the fiber challenge is the zucchini quiche with diversity dough. Isn't that delicious? We love it and often add other veg. Not sure of protein amount. Yeah, I'm not sure of the protein amount in that one too. The base is made with almond meal, so that's going to be quite high protein in the base. Far less egg in that one than regular quiche, but it might balance out with the almond meal. It'd be interesting to find out. And yes, to the person who wants the sausage roll recipe, I will be sharing that one with you as well. And red lentil dal, you can find recipes online. The one that we sell at Stacked Whole Food Blends is 13.5 grams, which you can up with some flatbread to make it, 17.5 grams. And that is delicious. My children, as much as I would love for them to love red lentil dal, they just don't. And so I will make a batch of the red lentil dal. You just add like a tin of coconut cream and a tin of diced tomatoes and simmer it up and add a squeeze of lemon juice and it's done. And then I freeze it in 4 separate lunch portions for me. And I pull it out when there's nothing to eat for lunch. Like I have, you may have heard this before if you've been tuning into me a lot, but every morning at 7 a.m., there's an alarm on my phone that goes off. And it just has the word Lina with a question mark. And that just triggers my mind to go, oh, okay, what am I going to do for lunch and dinner tonight? Do I need to defrost anything? Do I need to soak anything? Do I need to pick anything up when I'm out before I come home? It saves a lot of chaos, insanity, and disorganization and lots of things. And it just means that you get much better nutrition. Like it makes an enormous difference. Such a simple little thing to just check in the morning. And so if I've checked in the morning and I can't see anything readily available for my lunch, like dinner leftovers or whatever, I will pull out from the freezer something like this and it's ready there for me. Okay, so that is the lunch ideas. Does anyone have any of their own ideas for lunches or dinners that they love that's high protein? Because everyone will benefit by you sharing. And then we're going to move on to our last section, which is snacks and dessert, which is a lot of fun. We all love some snacks. We all love some dessert, don't we? And this is an area where it's very easy to boost that protein quite a lot. So here we go. No bake chocolate peanut butter balls. I read Jordana's comment of an egg salad and I almost said no bake chocolate peanut butter egg salad. Anywho, egg salad's a great idea. That's a good one. 7 grams for 1 egg. Awesome. Okay, I'm going to give you the recipe for this one. And it's very simple. And it's also going to give you 7.2 grams as a snack or as a dessert. So that's a great boost to the daily intake. You can throw together some almonds and sunflower seeds to make a trail mix. And a handful of that is like a palm full, not like a big handful, but just like in the palm is going to give you about 8 grams. That's a very easy snack, full of nutrition in that one. Puffed millet and peanut butter bar. I'm going to share this recipe with you as well. I'll share all of these recipes with you. I can just stop saying that. You'll get them all. Okay. one serve of this is 12 grams. That looks like something yummy that you could have for a snack or dessert to me. Chocolate bean pudding. Belle from the Root Cause created this recipe. Sounds gross, but it's quite nice. I have tried it and it's going to give you about 15 grams. Now, can you imagine a child? Like, just don't tell them what's in it. Just make it, make sure it's cold, chilled in the fridge. Serve up some like chocolate mousse for breakfast with some strawberries on top. Like, do you think that's going to go down well? I think so. Someone else says that they love a cauliflower curry with lentils and peas. That sounds delicious. This is one of my recipes. It's a chocolate oh gosh, it's not chocolate. I was rushing to get these slides together. They're actually called Powerhouse Protein Pikelets. There is no chocolate in them. 2 pikelets that are quite light. They're not heavy at all. It's gonna give you 16 grams of protein. My children could down 4 of those as an after-school snack. So, that's quite a lot of protein in an easy recipe. These pikelets are a little bit more difficult to flip, so you've just got to get the knack of when and how to flip them, but get them right and they are awesome. There's lots of hemp seeds and egg and oat in those ones. Tahini, oh my gosh, these ones are yum. I liked these more than my kids did, but my kids did accept them as well, but I really liked them. Tahini walnut cookies, and they're quite high. Like 2 little cookies is going to give you 8.5 grams of protein. Like that's a good hit of protein there. Peanut butter fudge for dessert. It's, not the highest in protein, but if one piece is going to give you 3 grams, but it's a nice little dessert to have. Have you heard of my magic chocolate milkshake? It's like it's like a chocolate milk but packed with so much goodness for your kids. It's got 3 serves of veggies in there, got adaptogens, it's got lots of awesome things. And if you make it on milk instead of water, it's gonna give you 12 grams of protein, and a child will down that after school or any time. I will down that. I quite often make it. Quite often they say, "Mom, can you make me a chocolate milk?" And so I'll go and make this chocolate milkshake. And, yeah. Oh, someone said here, "Yes, I make it all the time." I wonder what that was about. That was maybe it was the chocolate milk. I'd love to hear. Tell me what you think. This is another one of my recipes that I threw together one day with some I had too much quinoa in the fridge. 2 of these delicious and I know Jordana doesn't see, Jordana, I'm a chocolate fanatic. Mhm. I have overcome my official chocolate addiction. Like, I call it that because I know it was an addiction. But I'm not addicted anymore, but I still really appreciate chocolate. So I'm sorry, Jordana, a few of these have chocolate, but you can just omit the chocolate or add some sultanas instead or something. Some little bits of date or dried fig or something like that. But they're delicious. They're quinoa, chocolate peanut butter balls. 2 of them will give you 4 grams. This is another make ahead one. Chocolate muesli protein slice. 1 serve will give you 5 grams. Mixed berry oatmeal slice. Now, this one looks almost like a crumble type vibe for dessert, I would say, or even in a school lunchbox if you want. But if you serve it, say, dessert with some, I know I rely on the Greek yogurt a bit, but substitute that for whatever your substitute for Greek yogurt is. And that's about 7.5 grams for dessert. Oh, this one, you guys. My kids love it. I love it. We put it in the school lunchbox. It's awesome. It's an oat, date, and seed bar by Brenda. We've got lots of friends who make amazing recipes and have their own recipe blogs. And so yeah, I love to put their recipes in here too. And they've been generous enough to allow me to publish their recipes on my website. And so I'll be able to share all these links with you. But 1 serve of that, so like that's about the size of what you can see there. That's about 5 grams. And it's a bit hard to not eat more than 1. That's all I'm gonna say about that. This one, ooh, okay. I've made this 3 times in the last 2 weeks. I made it for the very first time the day before school went back, and the kids can't get enough. It is the most realistic, commercial-like meat bar recipe that I've tried, and I've tried a lot of whole food-based muesli bar recipes for the school lunchbox, trying to find one like, there've been some nice ones in the past, but they're ones that you've got to, like, freeze and then quickly put in the lunchbox with an ice pack. These ones, they cook hard. There's no need for an ice pack. They are very similar to what you'd buy in a little box at the supermarket, but they are so delicious. And yeah, one serve will give you 5 grams. And again, hard to stop at one. Another one by Brenda. This is a flourless orange almond cake. It's made with almond meal. And look at that, one serve of that cake. And you can make them in little cupcake size or muffin size ones. That's what I generally do. And that's going to give you over 11 grams of protein there. I hope that's helping you see how possible it is, you guys. And again, for those who have joined, the reason that I swapped the topic of today's lesson is because I saw that there were so many people going, "Oh my gosh, I'm not getting enough, and I don't know how to increase it to the point where I need to be with my target." So that's why we're sort of going over lots of ideas today. Banana oat cookies by Jacqueline. 2 cookies will give you 4 grams. This is the dairy-free dill cashew cheese. And now I know this is not something that you're gonna make and have available all the time in the fridge, but sometimes it's nice to make something a bit special. And so that's gonna give you 5 grams per serve. Or if you put it on some of that sweet potato buckwheat bread or even just a whole grain bread, it's gonna bump it up even more for an afternoon tea or for lunch. Now, simple yogurt with nuts on top for dessert. I personally love to add some frozen raspberries on there. It's going to give you 20 grams ish, depending on how much you have. This is a recipe that I made recently, not my photo, but it looks very similar. Gut loving jelly. Now, you've probably all seen those gummies that go around the place, and they're awesome. There's some great gummy recipes out there, which are like gut loving little, you can refrigerate them and they set into little shapes and they're quite hard. Oh, not hard, but they're harder than, say, a regular jelly. But if your kids are just missing, or if you are just really missing that traditional jelly recipe, the like the aeroplane jelly mix, this is this is what this is my answer to that. My kids really love it. We've been making it a lot for school lunches as well. And so one serve of that is about 4 grams. So if you think about that, right? So my kids are taking a serve of jelly a lot of days in their lunch. They're also taking that muesli bar slice that I showed you just then, that's 5 grams. So that's 9 grams already. Sometimes they'll take 2 of them quite regularly, take a hard boiled egg, that's 7. So that bumps it up to 16 grams that they're having just in the lunchbox with snacky stuff. And then they're often having those pancakes for breakfast. That's 20 grams, right? So like the kids are sorted. Like that's a lot. Like that's even just breakfast and a few snacks in the lunchbox. Tuna and whole grain crackers, about 15 grams. Oh, that was the last one. Was a bit of a anticlimax there, wasn't it? So there you go, guys. Now I've just kind of thrown like a bit of thrown lots of ideas at you. And I hope it's not overwhelming. I hope it's inspirational. I hope that you can pick out quite a few different things that you can try for yourself and for your own family. Your homework is to consider what your target is and just create a day on a plate for yourself. Just one day of things that we've shared today combined with your own ideas and show me how you're going to create one day of reaching your protein target. Does that sound doable? I'd love to hear in the comments what you guys think about that. Now, of course, we didn't really go into many dinner ideas and lunch ideas because it's traditionally just quite a protein heavy meal already. But I hope you can see that through snacks and desserts and breakfast, whew, you can really get up there. Good. Someone said yes, very doable. Carrie just made an egg and avo with healthy toast. Yeah. Jordana says daunting but doable. I love that you know it's doable and it's okay for something to feel daunting. We need to feel challenged in life. And Jordana, sing out. If you feel like you're kind of butting your head up against a brick wall with it, sing out and I can help. All right, you guys, thank you so much for joining. I'm gonna then when I hop off this call, I'm going to put the links to those recipes that I mentioned in the description of this post. So if you return to this post in the Facebook group, you'll see the links to all the recipes that I've referred to there. I just have to go into each individual one right now and just click edit and add the tag that makes it public for the week for you guys. So just remember that it will only be public for the week and then it will revert back to my own, the No Fuss fam coaching members only. And you're welcome, you guys. Thank you for your gratitude. Terry again. Let me see. Terry said, "Hi, Lanny. Terry again. Thank you so much. I'm just wondering, now we have more knowledge. Do you touch on how much protein is too much?" Terry, that is what the topic of today's lesson was going to be on. But I switched it over because there were just so many comments from people not sure how, like, they were feeling a bit overwhelmed with not knowing how to increase their protein intake to reach their target. So, what I'm going to do is I will make sure that I cover this because it's an important topic. So I'm gonna make sure I cover this before our time is through. It might be on the weekend at the Q&A or it might be tomorrow, but I think tomorrow's lesson is gonna be pretty full. I don't wanna make it too big, but I will make sure I cover it for sure. You're welcome, guys. Thank you for joining me, and don't forget your homework. I'm gonna draw the day 3 winner later on today, and they're gonna win a 1.2 kilo chocolate protein blend. And Jordana, yes, we're gonna come out with a vanilla or a neutral flavored protein blend next. But right now it's just the chocolate one that's available. And so I'm gonna draw that person later on today. Last night, I don't know if you saw it, but last night my 2 youngest, Max and Rose, they went live by themselves and drew the winners for day 1 and 2. And YouTube have banned me because of it. So I tried to stream this video now to YouTube this morning, and they've banned me because apparently you can't have kids streaming live unsupervised, which I totally get. Makes sense. But I didn't know about that rule. So now they won't let me stream. So apologies to those who have had to find their way over here to the Facebook because YouTube wasn't working. Carrie, the winners for the last 2 days were Suzanne or Susan, I'm not sure how you say it, and who was the second one? Gosh, I can't remember the it was the tip of my tongue, but I'm sorry, Kerry, it wasn't you. But try again. I'm gonna draw the day 3 today and obviously day 4 tomorrow. Oh, Ella, it's you. Hey, Ella. All right, beautiful. Have a great day, you guys, and we will speak to you tomorrow. Bye.